Space, time, energy, matter, and gravity. Space is a mathematical concept that is like a stage. It is used by energy as described by forces and by matter as described by masses so that they can be located in space so their size and shape can be described. Space has 3 dimensions and is infinite in its 6 directions, called up, down, left, right, forward, and backward. Time is a man-made concept that is used to measure the motions of forces and masses through space. Like a ruler that measures length in space, regular and stable motions of matter, like the vibrations of atoms or the setting of suns, allow man to tag matter with a clock for describing how fast energy and matter move through space. The timing is done by counting numbers that increment at a steady and constant rate by 1. The number being counted is called the present, while all the numbers already counted are called the past. Only the present and the past exist. Numbers not yet counted are called the future and do not have any existence or reality until they are counted. The present, for most humans, lasts only about a second, the time needed to count a number. With this counting, called time, man can measure the motions of energy and mass and determine their speed, where they are, where they were, and predict where they will be. Space is filled with an ether called a vacuum. The ether is not a continuous fabric, as continuity necessitates mathematical concepts of infinity that can only be imagined and can never be realized without numbers. The ether is granular and has properties that are detailed by the way energy and matter move through it. It is a solid crystal made up of ether particles called Higgs bosons that are too small to be isolated and to be directly detected. These particles of ether, despite their imperceptible size, hardly move at all. They are so tightly fixed in their positions that they cannot be isolated and separated. They slow down movement of all matter moving through it, much like friction slows down matter on a larger scale. This gives matter its property called mass. Matter moves through ether in the form of protons and electrons. The atoms protons and electrons build are mostly empty space because of their small size and large separation between them. Matter moves through the ether like gas moves through a sponge. Like a squeezed sponge which slowly expands and draws liquids to fill its expanding spaces, the ether draws in a sea of particles called photons. It is this very slow but forceful push of the photons, called gravity, on the bubbles of air, called matter, that constantly push matter around the ether. This is like wind pushing balloons or like ocean currents pushing driftwood. Matter is pushed in the direction of the strongest wind. Groups of matter that shield other matter from this wind are forced together by the wind and are bonded to each other. This is like a mother who is bonded to the child she is shielding from the wind by her love. Or like objects that are bonded to the earth by her gravity. Energy, made up of waves of photons we call light or electromagnetic radiation, is manifested as a force on matter. It occupies the stage we call space, like flowing air in wind or like flowing water in currents. The speed energy moves depends on the medium it moves through. When energy collides with other energies, it passes through them without causing any change to the other energies and is never changed in any way itself. Its shape is defined by the pattern that propagates outward from the matter generating it. Energy could either be a moving point, like in a short laser pulse, an expanding line, like in a laser ray, an expanding dome or surface of a sphere, like in a short flash, or it can fill an entire area of space like sunshine. In whatever form it propagates, it maintains its identity like it was a living entity. Like a living being, it ages, getting weaker before dying. When energy collides with matter, the part that collides is bruised, like fruits hit by falling hailstones. Some of the energy is absorbed by the matter, while some is transmitted through it, slowed down, and split up like sun rays going through raindrops as shown by rainbows. Once outside the constraints of matter, energy regroups, regains its original speed it had when it entered, and continues its propagation through space, united like a school of swimming fish or a flock of flying birds. Energy that is not absorbed or transmitted through matter is reflected off its surface or diffused around its shape like a wave, and its direction is changed without being slowed down. When two particles of matter collide with sufficient energy, antimatter results. Antimatter and matter are identical except for their opposite charge. Because of their opposite charge, they attract each other, and when united, they both turn into energy. Like a man and a woman. In the past, there was more matter than antimatter. Most of the antimatter have already united with matter, leaving our world filled with energy and a residue of the matter left behind. Matter is condensed energy like the breath of warm air on a cold window pane. When matter moves through energies, it is slowed down and its direction of travel changes because it absorbs, transmits, reflects, and diffuses the energies. Matter, when colliding with other matter, drastically changes its shape, speed, and direction of travel. Because matter is condensed energy, it is filled with energy. Matter generates energy when the energy it contains leaks outside and radiates out to space in patterns that identify the generating matter like fingerprints identify a person. The universe as we see it and know it is an enlightened dance involving matter, antimatter, and energy, choreographed by gravity on the grand stage known as space. It allows life to live in it, to be moved by it, to wander around it, and to be inspired by it, to wonder about it, and to be awed by it, by its magnificence.